What's going on, everybody? Alex with you here again as usual. Thanks for dropping by for yet another chess video. I wanted to make this video as an update for all you guys that have taken the time to comment. By the way, thanks a lot. I appreciate all the comments you guys have been making and leaving on the videos pertaining to the iChessOne or any other comments for that matter. But I'm going to be making this video as a quick update as far as some of the things that I've noted with regards to the iChessOne board, and also some of the new developments that have come up and things I wanted to share with you guys. So after making my last video on the iChessOne, which was like 2 weeks ago, I actually realized that after kind of browsing through the application a little bit further and just clicking on some of the buttons, that the AI app actually works fine. I didn't realize, but when I was showing you guys in my previous video that there was really no button to play or press play when you're selecting the options for the AI, that screen there was actually just the preset section to where you preset whatever difficulty level you want and the time frame that you want it. But then when you get out of that, you can actually play just fine with the AI. And I guess the ability to play against the AI has always been there. I just really, I guess I wasn't aware of that fact. So, but yeah, today I wanted to show you guys briefly how you can use this chessboard to play against the AI as of now. Now, the company is going to be throwing more updates at this board, including the ability to play on chess.com and basically making this board more integrated with all other different types of software. So I'm really excited to be able to see what this board is going to become once we have all the different updates. Physically, this board is probably not really going to change a whole lot, but and I'm happy about that because the physical characteristics of the board, the wooden chess pieces, all of the layout of the squares and the buttons and everything is very pleasing, and there's really not much I can say about this particular product as far as any disadvantages that I find. I think this overall it's just a very solid product. But what we're going to see as far as the additional updates and developments is going to be in the software end of things. Now, before I get started actually looking at the way that this board works, I wanted to mention two things. One of which is in my last video when I was showing you guys the Evgeny Yeliseyev's 10-day mastery course, I mentioned briefly that the Chestnut Evo has Chessly integrated into the Chestnut Evo. I made a mistake, and I actually had somebody caught me in the comments, and he said, what is it exactly? Are you saying Chessly? It's actually Chessable. I'm sorry. Some of these terms do get a little bit more confusing sometimes, and when you're kind of like me and you're sort of trying to get your message across, sometimes the words will get mixed up a little bit, and you don't even catch yourself even when editing. Chessable. Chessable is the large online database of that's continuously being added and improved for people that are looking to get some kind of courses, some kind of opening tactics strategy. There's things that's added there all the time by different chess coaches, chess grandmasters, masters, and you go in there and it's part of the Chestnut Evo. It's integrated into it now. It's really fun and cool. There's a lot of courses, not only paid, but also free courses. I recently downloaded Magnus Carlsen course on, I think it was on the Sicilian. So it's really cool. You can get a lot of knowledge there, and using the Chestnut Evo's integrated lights, you use the Chessable and it actually guides you through on the actual boards, so you get more of like a direct visualization of the position using actual pieces, which is much more of what you can achieve than just looking at a typical computer screen. So Chessable, not Chessly. Sorry guys, just moving on. Secondly, I was always thinking about, well, when I make my videos, I always try to connect with you guys in every way I can. I realize that you guys are coming in to not only view stuff that's related to chess, but also just kind of share ideas. And one of the ways that I wanted to find kind of a better way to connect with you guys is just by kind of letting you guys know a little bit more about me. I've been sort of getting myself in a habit of reading within the past 2 years. I've been trying to make time every day to read books. Most of the books that I'm reading are not chess books, but rather classical books or things like fictional literature, things like this. This is Dead Souls by Nikolai Gogol. I've actually read this book back in college. It's a really fascinating book, but I purchased it so my wife could read it. It's a really nice book, but I do find time to be able to read before going to bed, and I also find time to read sometimes when I work out. I used to read books that like real tangible books like this, but sometimes the print in these books can be a little tiny. You guys would probably know. The small print here is made to make the book a little bit smaller to save costs on the printing, but sometimes the print can be so small that it can be a little bit fatiguing on the eyes. So over time, I realized that I can get a little bit better reading done on things like this, which is a Kindle Paperwhite, 10th edition. I'm not advertising this. I'm not being affiliated with anything like that, but one of the things that I like about this, this has an e-ink screen, so it looks almost kind of like fake-ish screen, but it's the closest thing you can get to where it will feel like words are written on paper. Like there's really hardly any, if any, eye strain. You can adjust the backlighting, you can adjust the warmth of the light, you can adjust the size of the font, you can change the font to a different font if you want. And the batteries on these things last for like more than 50 hours. So really quite nice. You know, I don't ever have to worry about the battery dying on me because between the time where it says you got 10% left and then, you know, you charging it, like 10 hours will pass. So, you know, and it charges pretty quick as well. I have a bigger version, which is, this one is called the Books. And I bought this initially for my wife. It's a really nice one. It's a lot heavier and it's like $500. But this one allows you to do like notes and stuff. So I'm using both of them to read. And I've been reading a lot of books. I've read about 40 books maybe a little bit more within the past 2 years. I'm really not a good reader. Like I'm not a bookworm. I never was, but I've realized that we all want to try to keep ourselves healthy, keep our mind active, especially as chess players. We want to be able to have a healthy mind and a healthy body, right? ASICs. So I read while I work out sometimes. I'll put one of these little readers on top of the elliptical stand and I'll just do my little elliptical and I'll read some pages. So why am I bringing this up? It's just another way for me to sort of connect with you guys. From this point forward, I'd like to introduce a little tiny detail in some of my videos so that way in the future, if you guys are like, what's this? I want to go down here in the bottom of the screen. I'll put like currently reading, and then I'll put what book I'm currently reading and like how far along I am. So that way, if you guys have read that particular book, you might be like, oh, what do you think about the book? Or if you haven't read it, you might be like, hey, I'm thinking about reading this book. What do you think about it? Just another way of, you know, connecting with you guys. So currently I'm reading Les Miserables. I'm about 79, I think, percent done. I'm reading the unabridged version. There is the abridged version, which removes some stuff, and then there's the unabridged version. I read the abridged version back in college, and it was an awesome book. It was great. There was some stuff that was extra, but I thought it was a fantastic book for anybody that's interested in reading classical books. It's just the way that Victor Hugo writes, and his writing style is just he's writing in these sort of like infinite ideas of, you know, space and time and a human condition and the soul and how, you know, it's broad, big topics, but it's beautifully written. Some of it's complex. The unabridged version, which is a lot. It's big. It's over 1,500 pages. It's sometimes it can get really difficult because he'll get into like the historical you know, explanations of things, and sometimes he'll just introduce some stuff that it goes over your head. Not that the reading comprehension is lacking, it's just that he will start to put metaphors using different characters and people in history, and he'll say something like, you know, this is not your Lafayette, this is your Robespierre, this is not your, you know, so-and-so, this is your this, and unless you're really good in history, the metaphors that he's trying to achieve by throwing in these type of things, by explaining the phenomena using somebody's name, you're like, I have no idea what you're describing to me because I do not know much about this person. This is not your, you know, Dudurat or something compared to so-and-so, and you're like, and then sometimes you just like, So yeah, Les Miserables. If you're wanting to read the book, my recommendation is maybe read the abridged version. Yeah, read the short version because yeah, the long version is. I read a lot of other books. I read Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, and Anna Karenina. I read a lot of books by Alexander Dumas, most of his Three Musketeers. I read Count of Monte Cristo twice. That's a really good book. That's a wonderful book. In two different languages. I read Don Quixote. I read a lot of Dostoevsky stuff. I read Crime and Punishment. I read Brothers Karamazov recently. I read a lot of like children's books too, like Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. I read To Kill a Mockingbird. So yeah, anything I can get my hands on. I read 1984 recently. So I'm sort of basically trying to get as much into myself. And one time I had a dream, and in that dream, a wizard came to me, and the wizard said, "Here, take this elixir." And I said, "What for?" He said, "Just take it." So I drank it, and I said, "What now?" He said, "Now you're going to live for 1,000 years." And so I sat there in the garden thinking like, whoa, I'm going to live for 1,000 years. What do I want to do? And in my dream, I remember I said to myself, I'm going to go to the library because if I'm going to live for 1,000 years, I need to read as many books about the world as I can so I can learn more about the world. And then I woke up and I thought to myself, but that's how it is in reality. I mean, we want to learn as much as we can about the world and the human condition, and why not start by reading books, you know? And so you can keep your brain active. And most importantly, what I've realized with reading books is that by reading books, I've also came to a realization that when you're reading books, you start to kind of, without even being aware of it, you start to learn how to visualize things. So when you're reading some kind of description or some kind of an action scene or something, you start to visualize it in your head. Okay, so it's midnight, and the character is going across this dreary field, and it's raining, and he's cold, and there's a lot going on. And so the more you can actually visualize it as you're reading it, the more into the book you become. That same skill of visualization actually becomes very important when playing chess, because you have to learn how to visualize the position of your and your opponent's pieces, not immediately, but how about, several moves ahead. That's what will set you apart from other chess players, is your ability to visualize where the position will end up after a certain exchange or whatever, So by reading the books, I've realized it's a lot easier for me to basically be able to visualize things. Not only that, when you're reading books, you have to be able to slow down. You can't be all over the place. If you want to pay attention to the book, you actually have to sort of tunnel vision yourself, and the same skill of tunnel vision in yourself is what's so important in playing chess. We have a lot of distractions around us, like our cell phones and stuff, that basically are trying to grab our attention every single time. Every single time your phone buzzes or something, it takes you away. What was that? Oh, that was just Twitter or whatever. That was Instagram. I have all my notifications turned off except for calls, emails, and texts. Everything else, I've completely turned it off. So we want as little distractions as we can in the world that's already filled with distractions. So like I said, I would recommend starting reading books. Maybe picking up some kind of a reader, whether it's some kind of a Barnes & Noble reader, or if it's a Kindle or something, I think it's worth everybody's time. Alrighty, my friends, so let me just go ahead and show you how this works. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn on the iChessOne board, and when you click that, you'll see the little blinking lights here in the middle that kind of notifies that the board's been turned on, and then afterwards the side light's going to be starting to blink blue, and that shows us that the board is in pairing mode. Past that point, we're going to go ahead and go into the iChessOne app right over here, and as soon as we go in, the board also will blink, and it tells us that that the board has paired. So it's as quick as that. When we go into the home screen of the iChessOne app, at least at this time, this is what the home screen looks like. It may end up changing, but I like the way that it looks. It looks pretty good. Up here, we have the Play Against AI section right over here. And the last time I showed you, we ended up going here, and it says a new game on top. So if we click for New Game right here, and it will bring us into this little screen right here that allows us to choose the different parameters. You can choose the time interval at the top here. You can choose no time, or you can choose any particular time. And then subsequently at the bottom here, we can choose the strength that we want to play. So you can play level 1 all the way to level 8. Now, I know this part here, I spoke to the iChessOne team and they told me that they're still upgrading this section. So we're probably expecting to see major upgrades to this section as well. But at least at this time, it is possible to play against the AI. At the very bottom, you get to choose whether you want to play as white or dark, or it doesn't matter to you. Random, you can have it as random. So we're going to go ahead and for the sake of this video, we're going to just go ahead and choose no time right here at the top. And then once you click no time, that section changes, and then you will just click on level 1 just for the sake of showing you guys, and then we'll use white. Okay. Once you do that, we'll go ahead and press this little save button right here, this little disc. And then we go to the favorites, which is the presets. This is what we got at the very top right over here. We have what we saved. But I've also got other presets saved. So I'm going to go with the preset of the most challenging ones. So we're just gonna, just for sake of showing you guys, this is level 8 right over here. And we're gonna be playing as white. So I'm gonna start that. Level 8 is currently the most difficult one. So if your pieces are not set up right, like here I made a mistake, I didn't set the pieces right, it will actually not start until you put the pieces back. Once you put all the pieces in their right position, it will show you in green that says that you're ready to go. So in this particular case, it's ready to start, okay? So I'm gonna go with the D4 opening here, just gonna try something new. And just kind of showing you guys, you know, how things work here. And when you choose a slightly more difficult level, it's going to take just a little bit more time to kind of think about the different moves here. I'm not really playing for a win. I just want to kind of show you. And also I want to show you sort of the exchange variation. The way that the pieces can be exchanged, which is something that hopefully you guys will. Okay, so watch this. Hopefully this will kind of show you guys an example. No, it's not one or two. All right. Okay, so here's an example. The opponent is wanting to take my pawn with their bishop, okay? And so it's blinking that. So this is an important consideration. So normally, if I were to play on an electronic chessboard in, like, for example, a square off pro, I'd have to pick up this piece, I'd have to pick up this piece, I'd have to put the bishop back, and then we're good to go. But then I would have to subsequently, and then it would register that the move has been made. In this case, what's nice, and this will actually save people a lot of time, is let's say that he takes with the bishop and I take with the knight. I don't actually have to make that in-between move. All I have to do is take, and take, okay? And it registers that I've made the combination. This will save people a lot of time when they're trying to play some kind of a fast game like a bullet or a blitz game. It really will save them a considerable amount of time. You know, trying to. She's gonna go here, maybe, I don't know. So once again, queen attacks queen. All I have to do is remove these two and just put that in there. That's, you know, that will save people a lot of time when they're in the hurry, like they're playing a blitz game So yeah, long story short, the AI section works well. I guess it worked all the way from the start when I even got this board. I just wasn't aware how the buttons, you know, and what the presets and all were. I just kept looking for a go button to start playing against the AI. I never found it, but either way, yeah, we've had the AI section. The AI section is pretty good. I wouldn't be able to tell you guys like as far as specific numbers, ELO, but all I know is that the company said that they're working on basically re-upgrading and revamping their whole AI section, which is really cool. Personally, I've been using this board to play online. I've been playing a lot of games on iChess. Yesterday alone and in the morning, I was able to squeeze in 5 games on iChess, and it's definitely really nice, and it makes a difference when you've got a board that works without any glitches, that does what it does, that, you know, I've been able to see myself knock pieces over and then put them back on, and the board wouldn't glitch, it wouldn't get confused. Like pretty much everything I've thrown at this board so far, it just works like really good, like really good. It makes you sort of rethink and be really happy and optimistic about having a board that just works really good. I'm currently watching a course with Garry Kasparov on Masterclass, and one of the things he was talking about is back in the turn of the century when he was playing against the computer, the match against, I think it was Deep Blue or something, and he was saying that it was the one of the games that he had. He was sitting there in front of this weird projector-like screen where it was like made where the pieces on the screen that he was analyzing and playing the game, they looked like a sort of 3D chess pieces, but he said that when he was playing the game, he lost, and he, when he later on took out a physical, tangible chessboard and he was analyzing the game, he was saying like, well, yeah, of course, like when you actually see it in real life on a chessboard, it made all sense. Yeah, you go here, 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 you take this and that. And he said he got distracted when it was not, you know, it was not on a real board. And that kind of goes to show you sort of that having a physical, tangible chessboard, even if all you do and 90% of the games that you play are online, having a real chessboard, instead of just looking at the screen, actually gives you a totally different perception of how the game goes from start to finish. And also, if you ever want to get to the point where you're competing or you're going to real tournaments, always looking at a two-dimensional screen, like two-dimensional screen of a chessboard, like on chess.com or lichess, it really doesn't prepare you for the ability to see things in 3 dimensions as much as a real chessboard would. So if you're looking to really get your hands out there and do over the board, you know, tournament like play, I would highly encourage you guys to consider investing into some kind of like a tangible chessboard, whether it's Chestnut, Chestnut Pro, whether it's iChessOne, or really any of the other boards, as long as you have a real board in front of you. Ideally one that's closer to tournament size, though. That's another suggestion. So anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and hopefully I haven't dragged it out too much. I wish you all stay safe. I've actually been kind of sick this past week. If you guys hear, I sound a little bit different. I had the flu. My kids had the flu, so it's been a little tough this past week. So, but anyways, as always, thank you once again for joining me for this video. Everybody stay safe, play more chess games, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.